So I am very excited to introduce our next speaker. I call him the Double D. He is the stand-up speaker. He is a pastor. He is a trainer. He is a speaker. He's a comedian. He is full of surprises. And he has an amazing motto in life: to laugh often and fear not. He's a good friend of mine. And I know that he is going to give us some amazing wisdom and some chuckles. So please welcome David Denby.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Louie, for that great story. Thank you so much. And for someone who grew up 4 miles from Disneyland, I was there quite a bit. So nice to see the face behind the magic. So thank you. So let me just get out of the way, this jacket. People go, I like that jacket. Oh, where'd you get that jacket? Oh, why the jacket? So I bought this in New Orleans about 3 years ago. And this is a black tuxedo jacket that someone has thrown paint on all over it. And to me, it's the perfect jacket for What's Your Story. There's no other jacket like this one. Maybe someone look like it. There's no jacket just like this one. But all of us start out our lives with a black tuxedo jacket. And through life, things get smattered on it, whether we want it to be on there or not. Oh, here's some disappointment. Oh, here's some abuse. Oh, here's some achievements. Here's some accolades. Oh, here's some degrees. Whatever it may be. Here's some relationships. Oh, here's some failed relationships. Whatever it may be, this is my story. This is my jacket. But really, it's our jacket, isn't it? It's all of our stories could look very similar to a black tuxedo jacket with just paint smattered on it. So February 18th, 2002, does anybody remember where they were on that day? Neither do I. I have no idea where I was. But on that day, Sports Illustrated came out with their weekly magazine, and on the cover were 3 words: The Chosen One, with a picture of junior high schooler LeBron James, like that. He was the chosen one. He was going to be the next Michael Jordan. He was going to be Mr. Basketball. Imagine the kind of pressure that would put on a 17-year-old, and yet he is someone who has certainly lived up to that pressure and that moniker of being the chosen one, as being perhaps one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Well, on this day, March the 20th, 2021, I'm here to tell you I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. In my Reformed faith, Christian faith, growing up, we are firm believers that we choose God only because God has chosen us. I only love God because God loved me first. And so God has chosen me, not due to any accolades, achievements, accomplishments, but God has chosen me as God has chosen you because of who God is, because of His splendor, His majesty, His incredibleness. And don't let that beeping bother you like it's bothering me. So we are chosen. I am chosen. I am the chosen one only because of who God is, not necessarily because of who I am. On March 5th, 1963, I was chosen to be born and to be left behind in the hospital. My birth mother gave me up for adoption and then left the hospital right away, which was very unusual back in those days. One day later, after spending the night there by myself, just checking things out, I was chosen by my parents, Marshall and Judy Denby. They came to the hospital and they said, we'll take that one right there. And so they chose me and they took me home. And for growing up and becoming a pastor, and when you do weddings and funerals and baptisms, and you see families sitting together in the pews and whatnot, I always had the same question. Who do I look like? Because when I see families, I'm like, oh, well, she has her dad's eyes, and oh, she's got her mama's nose, and oh, look at look at the family, they all look exactly alike. But who do I look like? I always wondered that growing up. I've lived in every quadrant of the United States of America. Born in Florida, moved up to Virginia, down to Atlanta, Georgia, up to New Jersey, out to California. Spent all my third grade, that was all before third grade through high school in California. Lived in North Carolina, lived in Virginia, Georgia again, Houston, Texas, Grants Pass, Oregon, Dubuque, Iowa, Texas again, and then Las Vegas, and that's where I'm from right now. I learned to adopt and to become very adept at every kind of culture, tradition, and practice that you'll find anywhere in the United States of America. I was chosen to be very athletic, which was great in going all those different places, because that was always the entryway for me to become friends and become accepted into the group. I can remember as a kid, always be, if you remember out on the playground, we're going to divide up teams and choose teams, and then, okay, I want you on my team, and then, I want you on my team, and I want you. And I was, on that first day, being the new kid on the block, I was always the last one chosen. And I always made sure that the next day, I would be the first one chosen. Someone told me, a counselor that I highly respect, she told me one day, she said, Dave, I've been practicing counseling therapy for 40 years, and you have to be the most hypervigilant person I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, is that good? I don't even know what that means. She said, you're the only person I've met who can walk into a room and within 10 seconds, you know how everyone feels. And I said, well, doesn't everybody do that? She said, no, they don't. She said, David, it's probably due to some trauma you might have experienced in your life. Can you think of anything? Well, as a matter of fact, I can. I moved to California in third grade. There were 10 kids on the block, and within the first year, my mom had gone out and scolded all the kids for not treating me well in one of the games we were playing. Mom, why would you do that? She was trying to protect me. For 6 months, no one talked to me on the block. Oh, they played the games. And I would sit there on the curb and just watch. And they just would pretend that I was not even there. And for a kid in 5th grade, this was traumatic. And so from that point on, I always want to make sure no one in the room is on the outside looking in, but is on the inside enjoying the party. And so when I walk into the room, I'm always like, okay, everyone looks good. Uh-oh, someone in the back. I was chosen to be the golden boy. Growing up all my life, David, you're the golden boy. Everything you touch turns to gold. You're smart, you're athletic, you're good looking, you got the world by the tail. You got it going on. And you know what? I believed it. I acted it out. And I lived it out. Because I was the chosen one. I'm the golden boy. I'm voted most likely to succeed in high school. I went on to a top 10 college, Davidson College, where Steph Curry came from. Went on and got my master's degree. Got to be a part of a church staff in Augusta, Georgia. I played a little golf down there. I got to play the Augusta National a few times. So, and I believed I'm the golden boy. Until I wasn't. And then in a matter of 4 months' time after moving to Houston, Texas, having the largest opening day service for a new church development in the history of the Presbyterian Church, over 1,000 people showing up on the first day. And within 2 years, I've lost my job, my career, and my family. All gone. And there I laid in the fetal position of a friend's apartment, just saying, I don't feel like I'm most likely to succeed now. Have two beautiful daughters from that first marriage. And when that whole divorce thing happened, the last time they've talked to me was April 15th, 1998. And if you're wondering how long that is, it's 22 years, 11 months, and 5 days. Just in case you wanted to know. And then I met Julie. Ta-da! And I was the golden boy once again. And then I run into Julie, and we're on a rock climbing retreat, and she walks up to the crowd of people there, and she raises her hand and says, I'm in debt. And I'm like, who is that? I want to get to know her. Yeah. And so she just bought a house that day, so yeah, she was in debt. And so I kind of followed her around during that rock climbing retreat, and who's that? Well, you better talk to him yourself. He's got the story. So we got married in 2001, and then we said, let's see if we can start a family. And we tried that for 4 years. And if you ever had any infertility issues, it's debilitating. I mean, you lose your dignity in a hurry with doctors and hospitals and all this kind of stuff. And one time, we need a sample, David. So, oh, okay, all right. Well, I don't know how much you know about biology or whatever, but these type of samples only have a shelf life of 45 minutes. Okay. So I get to the hospital, and I got my sample in my bag, my brown paper bag, and I get to the lab, and there's this line of people. Oh, no. And the lady at the desk, she kind of, yes, sir? I'm like, yeah, semen sample, 45-minute shelf life, we're at minute 38. The Red Sea, it just started. Thank you. It didn't work, but still, we tried. So we moved to Klamath Falls, Oregon, and started to be a pastor of a church there in 2004. And make this phone call, talk about these divine appointments. Make this phone call to some friends of mine who live up north of where we were in Oregon. I said, hey, how's it going? Oh, well, we're a little stressed. This is the wife I was talking to. Yeah, we're a little stressed. I'm like, really? What? How come? Well, Brian, her husband, 17-year-old daughter's living with us from Hawaii. I'm like, oh, really? How come? Well, she's pregnant. I said, oh, what are you going to do with the baby? Oh, we don't know. I said, well, if you want to give the baby for adoption, Julie will take the baby. Are you serious? Let me talk to Julie. That'd probably be a good idea. So I talked to Julie, and then they came down the next week, and we started this relationship, and Faith was going to be born in May of 2005. We're like, okay. And the birth mom, Barbara, said, well, I would like to give you my baby. I'm like, whew, all right. So that was going to happen in May. In February of 2005, June and I would go to Orlando. More magic. Yes. And we're sitting at Babies R Us, because they don't have Babies R Us in Klamath Falls. We're sitting in these gliders, Oh, do you like this one? Oh, yeah, I like this one. Yeah, how about you? And I look up to her and said, oh, yeah, I don't feel so well. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, I think I'm pregnant. I'm like, by who? I mean, what are you talking about? She says, go get a pregnancy test. I'm like, you know, they cost $20. Let's just wait. We gotta go buy one. So we went and buy one, and then, what did 2 pink stripes mean? It means you're pregnant. And so we were. And so Faith arrived in 2005, May of 2005. Joshua, 5 months later, in October of 2005. So, chosen to be doubly blessed with Julie and with 2 wonderful kids, Faith and Joshua. On June 11th, 2006, the kids were a year and 9 months old, something like that. It's Sunday afternoon. It's 1:50 in the afternoon in Klamath Falls, Oregon. The phone rings. Remember the phones? I'm like, I said the phone rings, which means it was there. It wasn't back here or in here. It was there. And so it rings, and I went over. Paget, Doug, 804 area code. I'm like, that's Richmond, Virginia. I used to live in Richmond, Virginia. Huh. Hello? I'm like, is this David Dindy? Well, yes, it is. Oh, hey. Hey. This is Doug Paget. I'm like, hey, Doug. He says, does my name ring a bell? Part of the hyper-vigilant part of me wants to remember people's names. So the Rolodex is just, and I'm thinking, is this someone's husband I screwed over in college, even though I never screwed anybody in college? I mean, what could this be? And I was like, Doug, you know, I'm sorry, Doug, but your name does not ring a bell. I'm really sorry. He goes, well, and I'm thinking, what in the world? He says, well, you and I have something in common. And I'm like, and now I'm irritated. And I'm like, oh, really, Doug? And what might that be? He says, you and I have the same mom. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because probably 10 years earlier, I'd been talking to my mom. I said, do you know anything about my birth family? She said, you know, the only thing I think I can remember is their last name was Paget. So I knew right then, this guy's not pulling my leg. And I'm like, oh my God, I got it. Where are you? Well, Richmond, Virginia. I said, I got to come out and see you. And he says, you know, he's my older brother. And I have an older sister. And I have a younger sister. I said, I got to come out. Well, pump the brakes there, buddy. Because all 4 of us, we all share the same mom. And they all share the same dad. But after the first 2 were born, there was a little separation between Betty Jean, a birth mom, and her husband, Doug Sr. And so she went down to Florida. Ta-da! And here I am. So September 9th, 2006, 43 days, 6 months, and 4 days after I was born, after she gave me up out of great love, after she chose me to give up, I met her face to face. And she came up to me, and she hugged me, and she whispered in my ear, I'm not letting go this time. And then she pushed me back. She looked at my face, and she said, you look just like your daddy. I'm like, gosh, darn it, I want to look like you. So we all went out on the back deck, and we're all talking out there. It was a warm day. Flip-flop, people were wearing flip-flops and everything. And all of a sudden, I looked at younger sister Ellen at her toes. And I went, those are my toes. That's what my toes look like. And after 43 years, 6 months, and 4 days, I finally met the group of people that I look like. Inside and out. The DNA is amazing. I'm a touchy-feely person. Hug, 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 hug. Last year's been a disaster for me. But in the family I grew up with, my mom, dad, my sister, no one touches each other. There's no hugging, I mean, a little bit, but not, and we don't say I love you a whole lot and this kind of stuff. And then I meet this birth family, and these sisters, oh, David, David, oh. I'm like, these are my people. And we've had such a great time getting to know each other. The older sister, Laura, who was 3 when I was born, was with her mom, Betty Jean, when she was pregnant. And she said, Mama, out there on the back deck, did I know you were pregnant? I mean, I was 3 years old. She said, I don't know if you did, sweetie. But every night when we went to bed, you'd rub my tummy. And Laura, we thought we were just this close. And then separated for 43 years. But God chose us to bring us back together. So we're very grateful. Michelle mentioned that I was, my mantra in life is laugh often and fear not. And I love to laugh. God, I love to laugh. I love to see other people laugh. I love for people to make me laugh. I love to make other people laugh. Always make sure we don't laugh at people. We laugh with people. And so a dream of mine came true last year. Right before COVID hit, I had a chance to go to perform a set, at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City in Times Square. And I've never been so nervous. Before I thought, how am I going to hold the microphone? I'm shaking so bad. And went out there, and the people laughed when they were supposed to. They laughed even when I didn't think they would. It was one of the greatest nights of my life. And then there's the fear not. Someone told me years ago, a very trusted pastor said, do you know that the word that fear not is mentioned 366 times in the Bible? 1 for every day of the year plus leap year? And I thought, well, if he said it, it must be true. And so for years, I preached that, fear not, 366 times in the Bible. Then finally I looked it up. That's not true. It's only about 86 times. But I love juxtaposing those together to laugh, the healing effects of laughter, what the body does when you do laugh. It's amazing how God designed us for that. It's also amazing what the body does when you fear and when you live a fearful life. And so to remind myself not to be fearful, on all your emails, which I don't know how many accounts I have now, but I got a bunch, you can do, auto signature, just signature and then there it is. I never do auto signature. Because I want to type it out every time. Laugh often and capital F-E-A-R space capital N-O-T exclamation point. Over and over and over again. So I'll always remember. It's not always easy, but to always remember, laugh often and fear not. Well, I will never grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. But I am the chosen one. And the best news of all is you are too. Amen. Thank you.